Hello everybody. So you guessed it, for today's warm-up you're gonna need a pencil, definitely our drawing pencils, and then if you wanted to add some variation or try to use a Sharpie, you could also have a Sharpie as well. We're gonna get started with our drawing pencil, and you're definitely gonna need one of your other drawing pencils. I grabbed my HB and my 2B. It honestly doesn't matter which pencil you're working with today. I like to label in Sharpie, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can label with whichever material choice you want. It's going to be November 5th if you're first or third period, and it's going to be November 6th if you're fourth, fifth, or sixth period. All right, so for today, we're going to do some symmetry practice. I am going to divide my page into two parts, just so I can give myself some space. Tongue twister there. I'm going to try to find the half as best as I can and just sketch a line down it. All right, so once you have your line dividing your two sides, we are going to do two different exercises to get us warmed up and stretch our visual processing just a little bit, and also get our brains working this morning. So we're gonna go ahead and we are going to work in this first side, the left side. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna establish a line of symmetry so we can keep track of where we're working. So let's make another line. So remember, this is our division. Let's make a vertical line that goes from the top of the perforated edge where the paper rips, and then it goes all the way down. And I'm going to actually make this dashed or a broken line so that I know this is my line of symmetry. If you need to have some assistance trying to make a straight line, which mine's not even perfectly straight, but it's like pretty close, you could use a ruler and you could put that on your paper. You could also find something that's pre-made, and you can hold it where you want your straight line and then trace up against the side of maybe an envelope or something that you have that has a defined pre-made straight edge. So that's always an option as well. So this is our line of symmetry. Maybe make a note. So this is where we're going to be working on both sides, and it's going to be a mirror image. So if you're working on the left side, the right should mirror it exactly, and vice versa. But for this activity, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to get both of our pencils, da-da-da-da, and we are going to put them in both of our hands. And we are going to try our best to work, even if you're not ambidextrous, you're using a hand that you don't really draw with before, that's okay. That's part of the challenge. We are going to take whatever hand is dominant. So if you're right-handed, maybe you start with your right hand. And if you're left-handed, start with your left hand. So that's like the one that's in control. And then you're going to try to follow with your opposite hand, your non-dominant hand, to make a symmetrical drawing, whether it's with lines or shapes, following the same movements together. So you're gonna have to draw more slow. You're gonna have to slow down and really think about how you can get your non-dominant hand to keep up and reverse the image with your dominant hand. So I'm gonna start out slowly and narrate as we go. So I am right-handed, so I'm gonna kind of get a start on this side, and then I might pause, and maybe if I'm comfortable, I can do it simultaneously. But my left hand is working a little bit slower, keeping up. It's a little more bumpy. It's gonna take some time and practice. This is just for fun and also to practice a new skill. Really challenging your brain to reverse your image You have to check your left side and your right side to make sure they're both doing the same thing but flopped, but opposite. I can already tell my right organic now kind of shape is bigger than the left, and that's okay. This is just practice. It is going to be difficult, but you can do it. Don't cheat. Don't draw the right one first and then draw with your left hand or vice versa. The goal is to do it at the same time. So we're going to keep going. Maybe add some shapes, maybe add some more lines. Maybe don't worry about what the image is necessarily, but just try to make both do the same movement. Oh, that one's a little off. That's okay. All right, keep going. We got about 1 more minute. All right. Go ahead and put both your pencils aside, take a breather. That was pretty challenging. All right, I'm gonna redefine that line. Okay, so on this next one, we're gonna define another line of symmetry. Don't worry, we're not gonna use both hands again. We're just gonna use our dominant hand. We're gonna do a vertical line of symmetry, and I am actually gonna use my unofficial ruler straight edge for a more straight line. So we have a vertical line of symmetry, and now we're going to make the symmetry part the challenge for this activity. So on this side, we're going to also have a horizontal line of symmetry. So I'm trying to find the middle of my paper, so I want to look at the space and see where the half is, or the middle of this rectangle. Use my, straight edge. Oh, it's not super half. I apologize. Should go down a little bit more. I want to try to make your spaces all the same size. They need to be the same size, but this is just practice. It doesn't have to be exact, but it helps if they are pretty close. So you shouldn't have a box that's like really small up here and then the really big quadrants down here, and vice versa. You want to make it so each rectangle is the same space, so that way we can work on our spatial recognition and visual placement. Okay, so for this we have 2 lines of symmetry, so whatever gets drawn on the left side needs to not only reflect on the right side and mirror, but the same needs to happen for the top and the bottom. Top and bottom. Bottom reflects the top and vice versa. So we're going to take a few minutes, go ahead and pick some shapes, pick some lines, and we're going to start creating just a mini symmetrical design for the rest of our warm-up today. If you'd like to follow along and start with mine just to make sure it's symmetrical, you can. And then if you want to go ahead and use your own shapes and lines to create yours, you can do that as well. So each box, this one's a little bit trickier too, each box should match, so I have to try to make each curve like this reflected there, and I have to get this to reflect here and this to reflect down here. And then this side should reflect this side, and this side should reflect that side. So I need to change this guy. He needs to be a little bit littler to match this a little bit more accurately. Instead of erasing, I'm just going to make my lines darker. So So we can practice sketching and then defining the space. So this matches this, and now I have to match this to down here, so I have to look for the space between these parts. Go about right there. This has to match here, this has to match there, so I'm looking for that space that I drew. I'm going to put in another circle. Ooh, those aren't exact. Diamond's bigger than that one, but they're in the right spots. I'm gonna redraw that, try to get it the same. There we go. All right, so that reflects on this side, but now I have to reflect it down here. And I have to reflect this here or that on this side as well. It's a little longer. So go ahead and make sure the last shape that you just made matches on all of your quadrants. And then there we go. There is our warm-up for today. Glad we participated and you made it through. I know it was challenging, but it is good to try something new and also stretch yourself. So give yourselves a pat on the back.